Okay, welcome to the lesson on N1은, 이에요, which is a level 1 lesson as part of the Korean Grammar for Topics series. Firstly, let's look at the vocab that will be used in this lesson, or 어휘. Firstly, ida, to be, 제, which means my in the lowering form, thus is polite, 고향, which is hometown, 이름, name, 호주, which is Australia, 사람, which is person, and 지도, which is map. So getting into what this grammar means, firstly, let's start with the translation. And the translation is noun 1 is or equals noun 2. And it uses the ida verb, which you would have seen on the previous screen. Now, when it comes to the creation of sentences with this, if you have a look up the top up here, you'll notice that there's a N-는 after noun 1, and after noun 2 there's an 이에요 /예요. The reason for this is the grammar conjugation on the particle form used depends on whether the nouns have a padjim or not. Now, this is something I'll cover in a specific lesson which looks at what a padjim is. But if you have a look at the word padjim here, it's a final consonant, and the direct translation of padjim is final consonant. So what this means is if the last syllable, which is this block here, has a consonant or something that sits underneath it here, then you use this form, so un. If it doesn't, then you use 는, and that's after the first noun. And then for the second noun, if it has a padjim, then you use 이에요, and if it doesn't, you use 예요. Now, the memory tool I used when I first learnt this was, if it has a padjim here, it means more over here. And it's as simple as that. From there, I just recommend practice. All right, with that in mind, let's have a look at some example sentences. And obviously, change the sentence up a little bit for yourself so it makes sense to your bits. And the reason I say this is, this sentence pattern is extremely good for those bits when you're first introducing yourself. You know, my name is, my hometown is this is the country I come from, and so on and so forth. So this is a sentence you're going to use a lot. Absolutely heaps. So take a bit of time, practice it, and then practice changing the bits to make these sentences right for you. So the first sentence, 제 고향은 멜번이에요, or my hometown is Melbourne. So in your case, the bit to change is this part here. So insert your hometown. And to look at once again the definition of what this means, my hometown, or about my hometown, and you'll learn more about what this particle here specifically means, but about my hometown, or my hometown, is or is equal to Melbourne, which is actually true. I'm from Melbourne. Second one, 제 이름은 나탄이에요, which is my name is Nathan. So when you're creating this sentence, the bit you change is just insert your name here. Obviously remembering, as I said before, if your name finishes in a padjim, 이에요. If not, 예요. Next, 저는 호주 사람이에요, which means I'm an Australian. Or about me, I am an Australian person. And looking at that sentence construction, 저는, so me, or I, 호주, Australia, 사람, person, am. So I am an Australian person. 저는 호주 사람이에요. And then lastly, 이것은 지도예요, which is, this is a map. Note in this one, this is really good, and you'll get more into it when you start asking questions. So what are these things? But this is good for those first bits when you're just practicing stuff, and you can be like, this is a cup, or this is a can of soft drink, or whatever the case may be. when you have a look at this bit here, just to explain in a little bit more detail before I wrap up the lesson, got means this. So got thing. This thing, map is. This thing is a map. All right, guys, just to close out the lesson, some similar grammar patterns, and there'll be lessons on each of these as you go through the series, is N1은, N2이에요, which is the exact same verb, just conjugated for the polite formal form. And then lastly, N1은, N2이에요 or ya, which is the same verb once again, conjugated into formal or the impolite form. All right, guys, to finish up, if you've got any questions, hit us up with a comment. Otherwise, have yourself a good and safe